And welcome to Liverbird TV. So today the fixtures came up for the Premier League, and obviously at the start of the season we've got a tricky away tie to Chelsea. But I'm actually just going to go into this video in terms of why I think it's probably the best time to get not drawn, but to get a fixture against Chelsea, because listening to TalkSport this morning, there's 35 players there. Now it's going to take a bit of time for Pochettino to get rid of, say, 10, 12, 14 players, and then he's got to bed in a system. Then he's got to bed in, his way of playing. So if you was going to ask me, getting Chelsea away, whether I would take it first game of the season or 10 games in, 15 games in, 20 games in, I actually think that this is probably the best time to play them when they're in a major part of transition, because ridiculously bringing in that many players last season, followed by the fact they've now changed managers. And you can imagine if a situation happens like with Ziyech that happened last year, where he was denied a deadline day move, there could be a very unhappy Chelsea camp. And then Conor Gallagher's been in talks with Brighton today, so he's going to go. Mason Mount's going to go. Koulibaly's going to go. So there's a lot of players that are going to go from Chelsea. So I do believe that if we are going to start the season, bang, straight away, win at Chelsea, Bournemouth at home. All right, after that we go to Newcastle away. So it's one of them. There's no easy games in the Premier League. There never is any easy games in the Premier League. I love the fixtures a week before Christmas. We've got Arsenal and Man United a week before Christmas. So that's unbelievable. So I'm really looking forward to that. So I'll just read your comments and see what you all think. As soon as the comments are coming through, I'm just waiting for the system to catch up. And we'll talk about pre-season. But like I say, going into detail now, Chelsea for me, first game of the season with the transition that I think will be basically still in place by the time the season starts. I'm actually confident that we can go there and get a really good result, and I'm sure you are as well. So yeah, so there's some interesting news coming out at the moment about Kevin Thuram as well. We do know that his agent has more or less, she has been at Nice's headquarters the last couple of days, so I don't know whether or not that they're hammering out agreement of fee. That's possibly what they are doing. And then in regards to to anything else, I've not really heard anything else. I've just been listening to Redmen TV now, and they're going on about obviously the usuals like Kone's, Pavards, Gravenberch, the same names. They're not going away, these names. And they were talking about Nico Barella going to Newcastle now. Like I said, I think McAllister was that player that we identified as the more of a number 10 midfielder. We now need two number 6s, or a DM, basically a defensive midfielder. So I think Liverpool's next two signings will be that. I think it will be two defensive midfielders, or even one and a centre back, and maybe possibly, I was going to say a backup striker, but I don't think we need a backup striker. There's rumours going around about Chiesa, but for me, we do not need Chiesa. We've got so much width, especially because he plays left side. I mean, we've got Gakpo, Diaz and Nunes that can all play there, along with Jota, and along with Ben Doak coming through as well. We've got wingers, and then you've got Harvey Elliott, and then you've got obviously, Kate Gordon. We've got a lot of players that can do a job in the Cups, the League and the Europa League in them positions. So we don't need to waste 40-50 million pounds on a winger. We don't need another winger. The priority this summer has to remain the midfield, the centre midfield and the defensive midfield positions. So that is obviously, really important. So our record at Chelsea away, we get a lot of draws there. I think there's been a couple of 0-0s, and obviously last season we were quite lucky to draw a 0-0 there. If I can remember rightly, Chelsea were the better team, and if they could have had a number 9 up front, or anyone that could have scored goals, then they would have clearly beaten us that day. But obviously there's a lot that's changed since then. We've obviously found a new system. Trent can now play in inverted winger, inverted right back, centre midfield type of role. We've brought in McAllister. Curtis Jones was on fire towards the end of the season. So it's one of them. Basically, what do Liverpool do? Are they going to change the system? Are they going to go back to 4-3-3? Obviously, we'll find out that in due course. But obviously, there's going to be at least 2 or 3 more signings coming in the door. Without a doubt, that's going to be the case. So now what do we do in terms of wait till after the Euros? The Euro 2021 starts this Wednesday and ends on the 8th of July. Now, there is a lot of artists, it's going to sound mad to say this, but the reason why it's gone quiet with regards to transfers for us is because our targets are playing in that tournament. Now, if you look at it, Gravenberch is playing for Holland, right? Then you've got Kone's playing for France, and so is Thuram. So there's 3 of our targets playing in this European Under-21 Championship. So it shows you the reason why I think it's gone quiet. Obviously, we've still got Pavard, and then there's talk about Chiesa. But yeah, it's just one of them, innit, really. It's really comments that are starting to come through, because obviously I've had a bit of a technical problem, so I think certain people are thinking, is this video actually going to go through all right? So it says here, Simon Blanchard, 1 or 2 free transfers or to bulk the squad, maybe. Free transfers, well, we can't really argue with free transfers, can we, mate, considering the fact that James Milner was one of them. With me, what I think is going to happen, like I said, is I think what we'll do is we will definitely bring in 2 number 6s that can play the Fabinho role, not just for now, but for the next few years. Because I think Fabinho, I think if a serious offer came in for Fabinho this summer, I think Liverpool would consider it. I really do. He was starting to get back to his best towards the end of last season, but he's 29, nearly 30, and I think that if this isn't going to be his last season, if a bid comes in, then I think next season definitely will be. So we need to look at the next sort of midfielders coming in that can do a job for us for the next 5-6 years. So I mean, that's what I believe anyway. But like I say, the reason why I'm doing this video, so people can watch it later on or whenever they want to watch it, is I wouldn't be worried too much about Chelsea away first game, because I do think it's going to take Pochettino 5 to 10 games to really get, him and his players playing to his way and a tune, and sort of, finding out the squad he wants. Because when you've got 35 players like Chelsea have, he's got to look at all of them and decide, is he on board, is he not on board, is he on board, is he not on board. So it's going to be really tricky for him. So with that, I actually do believe that first game of the season, Chelsea, is good to get it out of the way. Now, if you actually look at it as a reverse to worrying about it, getting Newcastle away and Chelsea away out the way within the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, it could actually go in our favour, because they're 2 tricky games that you wouldn't want to face on the tail end of a title chase. So I don't know what kind of frame of mind are Manchester City going to be in, going to Turf Moor, a buoyant crowd, Vincent Kompany. It's different beating them 5-0 at the Etihad, but to go to Turf Moor, opening day of the season, I actually do think that, Burnley could get some of that day. So I said this the other day, if Liverpool can literally start off in bullish mode, where they go and win the first 9, 10, 11 games, or even draw 1 and win 10, draw 1, and win 9, whatever, in the first 10, then we could pull away from Man City quite early, because that's the season we won the league. That's exactly what we did. They tailed off and we just kept winning, and before you knew it, it was out of sight. If we're going to win the league with Man City, you've got to sort of make them think they've got nothing to fight for. And I think Arsenal let them have a sniff, let them back in. So with that, basically, Man City then believed they could win it, and then they went on to win it. With Liverpool, we've got to just win. We've got to make it look like if they go 2 or 3 sets of 3 points behind us, say 9 points behind us, they've got to look at us like they're not going to lose 3 games. Liverpool are not going to lose 3 games. So that's what Liverpool need to do again. They need to get into that winning mode where we don't look like we're going to lose 1, 2 or 3 games to make us lose a league title. So with that, I actually do believe that that the Chelsea first game of the season is a great fixture for us, because again, like I keep saying, they've got 35 players, and Pochettino's going to need time to see them. You know, what ones he wants to keep, what ones he wants to sell, and all that. Just another comment coming through. Yeah, the next few steps I see for the rebuild for Liverpool's future. Well, that's exactly it, Simon. That's what we need to do. We need to make sure that we are thinking of not just next season, but the season after the season after the season after. So yeah, so Chelsea away, first game of the season. Let me know your thoughts on this video of whether you think we can get 3 points straight away, and also let me know what you think of the fixtures over Christmas and stuff like that. You'll never walk alone.